It's MOT time. I've MOT'd literally thousands of cars when I was in the motor trade and afterwards, and I can give you some valuable tips and information that help you get a clean pass on your car. In the UK, we have a system for ensuring that vehicles maintain a certain roadworthiness, and it's called the MOT. It stands for Ministry of Transport. And in the MOT, they check for things like damaged tyres, brakes that aren't efficient enough, the operation of your lights, your horn, your steering. And nowadays, electronic warnings like if you've got an engine management light on, that's a fail. ABS, that's a fail. And the whole intention of it is just to make sure that the cars that are on the road are safe enough. Now, if your car's old enough, they're exempt, some of them, and also from road tax, which is nice. But obviously cars as new as ours don't get away with that sort of thing. In the US, they have an inspection, and in Germany, they have a thing called a TÜV, which, as the name suggests, is actually very tough to get through, even more so than anything we've got. So we should be glad about that. After a car is 3 years old, they have to be tested every 12 months just to make sure they're roadworthy. So that's what an MOT is. What an MOT is not is a service. And this confuses a lot of people who used to come back to the garage after a couple of weeks and say, hey, there's no oil in my car, it's just been MOT'd. You'd say, well, that's because the MOT actually doesn't cover things like oil, coolant, and condition of your brakes can deteriorate. Maybe that your brakes and everything were fine when it was tested, because it's a snapshot of your car at the moment that it was tested. And a bird has just pooed all over my windscreen. I guess that's lucky. And we've got an angry little man in a silver van behind me, trying to mate with me. I think he likes me bum. So that's what an MOT certainly is not. It's just to make sure your vehicle's safe. Doesn't necessarily mean that your vehicle is in good condition, but it's good enough to travel on the roads of Britain. Now, getting your car MOT can be a bit of a stressful thing, especially when they're like 20 years old, like mine is. I have to say, last year she sailed through without any problems at all. But there are some reasons why cars that are otherwise looking in pretty good condition can fail, and it's actually better to fail and get your car made roadworthy than it is to find out by having an accident. So it's a really good idea to get into the good graces of a garage that is also an MOT station. And there's a couple of good reasons for that. Firstly, if your car fails its MOT and they're prepared to do the work on it for you, then you don't have to pay for another test, which is always good news. And secondly, there are an awful lot of jobs on these cars which, if you're the right sort of customers, garages will take on for you. And being the right sort of customer is very important. What that means is being the sort of person you want to do business with yourself. Too many people will dump a car off at a garage and expect them to know everything about it and be able to fix it and do it for next to nothing and do it yesterday. And basically, you just don't want to do business with these people. But if you get someone who brings all of the family cars to you, that pays the bills on time, that doesn't quibble the price, a kind of trust forms between yourselves and the garage themselves, and they are more likely to take risks for you. And when I say take risks, I'm not saying cut corners. They'll just take on jobs that otherwise they might not want to do because they like you and because you're a good customer. It's really important to take care of the small things. Have you checked your lights lately? Your wipers, your washer fluid, is it full? Even the seat belts. You need to take all your seat belts to the full extent, check for any wear and tear on them. So we're checking for frays and tears in the seat and general condition, but also it needs to retract back into its holder as well, and that's for all 4 seats. And rather importantly, it's a good idea to prepare your car for MOT by respecting the tester. That means taking out all of the stuff that you carry around on a daily basis and stowing it away neatly in the boot so they can actually get to the bits they need to check. Car seats are a problem too, so if you have child seats in the back of the car, now's a good time to take them out.
You really are an untidy boy.
It probably seems like a small thing, but if an MOT tester has to wade his way through tons and tons of rubbish and plastic cups and cigarette packets and everything else, he's going to form an opinion of how you care about your car. And it shouldn't fail just because it's dirty, but it sets in people's minds the feeling that a vehicle is either cared for and respected or it's not, and it can make a big difference. Also, if they have to get all your crap out of your car for you, they're not going to view you very well for it. So make sure they can get to the seat belts and any other parts that they've got to check. So we'll start with the basics. Side lights, main beam, full beam, indicators, and give an inspection all the way around the car. So checking your mirror indicators are working, as well as everything else. We're looking good. On top of this, we also need to check the brake lights. So you could do with a bit of help with this for someone pressing the brake. I haven't got anybody here, so I've got a stick instead, and we'll try that next. And now we're going to check the brake lights. I honestly don't even know if this one works. Washers and wipers, both good, and the screen is being cleared, so that's a pass. But in addition to the wipers and washers, you also need to check the condition of your screen. Any chips, cracks or blemishes in the driver's vision is an automatic fail, and obviously on a car like this, the cost of replacing a windscreen is somewhat prohibitive. Under the bonnet there are things to check too. This is just to really make sure that you've got the right levels before you go for the test. You don't want your car running out of washer fluid or overheating or suffering an engine malfunction doing the CO tests. So let's check. To lift the bonnet, first lift it slightly so that the B comes out, and then pull the B up, but actually lift it using the body of the bonnet. Never actually lift it up on the B. That wouldn't do it any good at all. So we're going to check the washer fluid reservoir, which is there. If the engine's cold, we can check the coolant level. His dipstick is obviously over here on the W12 model. Brake fluid reservoir's there, and your oil fillers here. All pretty straightforward stuff. It seems like it's somebody else's job. In reality, you're responsible for the day-to-day roadworthiness of your car. And that means checking your tyre pressures, making sure there are no bulges, splits or damage on the tyre wall, and obviously checking the tread. You need to have at least 5mm of tread to be safe in one of these beasts. So get a tyre tread depth gauge and check it all around. Check all the way to the inside as well. If your tracking's out, you might find that you're getting uneven wear on your tyres, and at 250 quid a pop, you could do without that. Don't rely on your TPMS. Buy yourself a tyre pressure gauge, or get yourself one of the handy electronic handheld battery operated tyre inflators like I've got. Point on tyres. Tyres don't just wear out from wear and tear on the road, they actually age as well. All of your tyres have a date of manufacture on them, so it's a good idea to check them, and if they're getting towards 5-6 years old, even if they haven't done much mileage, it's probably worth changing them. So that's the lowdown. It's about the least you can expect to do in terms of preparing your car for MOT. Obviously book it in advance so that you don't find that you're without MOT in a car that needs work in order to be used on the road. Obviously you must never use a vehicle on the road that isn't roadworthy, but there may be some things that don't really class it as unroadworthy that you can order in advance so that when your MOT comes due, the work's all in hand. In England and Wales and Scotland, you have I think 3-week grace period that you can renew your MOT early and still preserve the original date of your renewal. So you can effectively get nearly 13 months MOT if you time it right. So that's it. We've actually done pretty much everything we think we can in order to prepare the car for MOT. It's clean and tidy, it's accessible for the tester, it's quite clearly been looked after and in good condition generally, and the only thing that remains to be done is for us to make sure it's got enough fuel in it for the MOT and that the battery, very importantly, is well charged. You don't want engine warning lights coming up because they've got the doors and boot lid open and they flatten a weak battery. That could be a fail on your MOT if you get an EML. Okay, good luck. And there we have it, how to get your car MOT'd. But you never thought anyone would tell you how to do that. You probably think that no one needs to tell you how to do that, but trust me, 18 years in the motor trade and thousands of cars to send to MOT, I know a thing or two about what makes the difference. If nothing else, booking it in early will better prepare you for saving money. If you had to change a side light bulb, you know what it's like on these cars. That could take you 3 weeks on its own, once you've got it rebuilt. So anyway, thank you for watching. If you're already a member, then thank you very much indeed. If you're a subscriber, thank you too. If you want to support our journey as we move further forward, then please do consider becoming a member. It's from just 99 pence. There's a link in the top of this description for this video, and it'll take you 2 minutes. Have a think. So thanks from me, from Trix, and from all the team. That's me and Trix. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Happy motoring.